Hey beautiful people, how's it hanging? Of course you know who it is, Dr. Mike, back again once again with another classic video for you guys today. Trying to bring it back. Magandang umaga, magandang gabi, magandang hapon, which means good morning, good evening, and of course good afternoon, depending on what time you guys choose to watch this video today. Always humbled and forever blessed to have you guys as an audience, and I'm glad that you tune in every time that a video is posted. But if not, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, notify yourself, definitely hit me up on IG, all the ebooks, secondary channel, everything. Links in the description area below. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about a particular topic that I haven't really discussed ever in my past, and I've kind of felt like this is a topic that is very, very important to us as foreigners, and I really wanted to go ahead and get it out the way. I do not wish to be before you long, so I'm going to try to go ahead and rip this off like a band-aid, and we're going to go ahead and get to it, okay? Today's topic, how to properly tip, T-I-P, here in the Philippines, in reference to being a foreigner, how foreigners should tip in the Philippines. Now, for us first-timers coming to the country, man, you're going to be surprised at how cheap services and foods and stuff like that are in the Philippines. You're going to be shocked, like, wow, this is really cheap. I'm used to paying this amount when I do this particular activity in the United States, but here I'm paying like maybe a third of that, right? So it's going to throw you off. And you know how it is in the United States whenever you go to a restaurant or something, gratuity or whatever, you get the bill, gratuity is 10-15% of whatever you pay, blah blah blah, whoop-de-doo, right? I think that the same mentality for us as foreigners should translate to the Philippines as well, okay? Now let me explain. I was watching a video the other day about a guy who got a $60 60 peso haircut or something. And maybe it was a 100 peso haircut, I can't remember. 60 to 100 peso haircut, right? And I guess that's like $2, right? Now, if you would have had that same haircut or whatever he had in the United States, maybe that's 45 or 50 US dollars. So you're talking about $1.50, $2 for something that would normally cost about $50. So that's 60 pesos to about 2,500 pesos if you translate that $50 to pesos. So he was so happy with, everything that was done and everything like that. He was excited. He was like, yeah, man, this guy did a great job on my haircut. He did a great job on everything. So we tipped him probably about 150 pesos more. So an additional $3 more than what he paid for the haircut. Let's say the haircut was just 50 pesos. He paid 150, so he basically paid 300% over what the actual cost of the service was. Now, I can understand how you guys can come here and be like, oh my god, things are so cheap. But in my opinion, you should always tip within means, okay? Now, I know it's not going to kill you. I know it's not going to cost you an arm, a leg, and a foot to tip a little more because you're happy with the service and it's cheap. Alright, but you have to understand that you have to bring the same gratuity mentality here to the Philippines. If you want to tip well, tip 20%. You can even tip 50%. Hell, man, however much you want based on the service provided. So, should he had paid 60 pesos, 100 pesos lahat, which means in total for everything would have been fine. 60 for the haircut, 40 for the tip. Yeah, 40 pesos is a little under $1, but you're not understanding why this is so important. The reason that tipping properly is so important in the Philippines is because there's a delicate economic balance, man. And for you to tip 300% more than what you actually paid for the service or the services rendered or the food gotten, that's actually not doing, that's not really doing anybody any favors. I mean, to me, I think that it's pretty much shading the economy a little bit. Things have a delicate balance, and we have to make sure us as foreigners keep things within balance. I made a video a while back about guys who choose to entertain women and stuff like that, and choose to do participate in activities like that, and I made it very, very clear that you have to do things like that within means. Just because you have the money, or just because you would pay for something in the United States at this price, doesn't mean that you have to come to the Philippines and pay the exact same price. There's a reason why things are cheaper here, okay? You have to realize the atmosphere, the economy in which we are living in and working in. I've said it so many times before. Philippines is a third world country. You should understand that. So their mentality, the behavior, the way that we should act accordingly should definitely be taken to heart. The way that we should conduct ourselves, the way that we should spend our money, the way that we should tip should definitely be taken into consideration when we're partaking in activities or getting services or things like that. You want to get a good massage. Let's say the massage costs 200 pesos, 250 pesos. Give her 300. The lady gets a 50 peso tip. There's no, that's not bad. It may be bad in your eyes because you're a foreigner and you're like, oh, that's cheap, I'm only tipping her $1. No, you're not tipping her $1. You're tipping her 50 pesos. Again, we've talked about this before too. Thinking about dollars instead, thinking about life in the Philippines in dollars instead of pesos. Stop that. I think that's where most of you guys go wrong with tipping too, because you're thinking, oh, well, it's only $1, so I could give her $2 or $3. It's only 150. No, you tip her 50 pesos for the service rendered, and that's good enough. Doesn't make you cheap, doesn't make you karipot, doesn't make you anything like that. It just makes you an individual that says, you know what, thank you for providing me a service. Here you go. Alright, there's nothing wrong with that, and most Filipinos would never tip as much as a foreigner would anyways. So with that being said, maybe the same service that costs 200 pesos, maybe she get like 20 or 25 additional pesos. You just never know. So I say you tip like Filipinos do. Filipino leave a tip, I say you tip like them. Don't tip more than them, because then it's going to become an expectation that all foreigners are going to have to pay or, have to tip at a certain level. Everybody's going to have this expectation, like I said, the high expectations on foreigners. Everybody's going to believe, oh, this foreigner tipped me this much, but he tipped me this much. Oh, so he must be broke or he must be this or that. It's all about the image. I mean, technically, I could care less about the image because, I am who I am for a reason. But you have to make sure that you tip within means, and you have to make sure that you keep everything within the economic balance, people. So when you tip properly, keep in mind the gratuity that you would pay in the United States. If you want to pay, like we do, normally 10%, 15%, 18% or something like that, like if you go out to a restaurant, okay. I say do the exact same thing here, but you can make your percentages a little bit higher. I would say if you want to tip 100%, I wouldn't even see anything wrong with that on cheap things. So if you got a haircut for 50 and you want to tip 100%, you just give them an extra 50 pesos. So you tip 100 pesos. It's only $2. It means nothing to us as foreigners, right? If you go to a restaurant, most of the expensive restaurants already have service charges included, so you don't have to tip at all. If you choose to, bahala ka. It's up to you. But most times with places that have gratuity or a service charge already included, you ain't got to tip at all, I say, But most of the time you wouldn't worry about tipping at all anyways, because normally that's pretty much, higher priced. Alright, with that being said. So, I just wanted to give you guys this quick video right now as I chill and I hang out for a minute, because, I like to tip, and I like to, tip well, but I like to tip within a means. Alright, you got to tip within means. Realize where you are, think in pesos, not dollars, especially when it comes to this, and everything will be exactly fine. I don't want you tipping hundreds or 200% more than what the actual service actually cost. Because sometimes when it comes to tips, and you guys should know this anywhere, sometimes when it comes to tips, the person that you're tipping has to share their tips with everybody else. You feel me? So if you tip a nice waiter or waitress for, just being above and beyond service, she might have to put that in a tip pot and split it with somebody else. That's the reason why I don't tip over unless I know 100% fact that person is going to hold their own tips. If they got to share that with somebody else, I won't do it. Because that's not right. Not everybody served me. Only that person served me. You feel me? So that's just something to keep in mind as well. There is a proper way to tip, and that is tip within means. For services that are cheap, let's say that you get a service or whatever and it costs you 1,000 pesos. I think 10% is okay. If you tip an extra 100, that's fine. You feel me? Let's say that if your services are cheap, like 100, 200, then if you feel like tipping 50 or 100 pesos extra, that's fine too. I think that, whatever you pay, you shouldn't pay no more than maybe 100 pesos, 150 max. based off of what you've already paid. You feel me? That's if you're feeling nice and generous and stuff like that. You know, I like to tip now. I got a little bit more than I had before in my life, so I definitely like to give a little extra. Or, you know, if the bill is like $5.50 and I give $600, you know, keep the change. You feel me? Like stuff like that I can deal with. You feel me? I won't ask for my change back. And that's pretty much how I normally tip. I don't really add too much extra to it unless I feel like it, you know, but you got to give me some good service, you know, to get that. And I think that you guys need to keep that in mind as well, especially you first timers coming to the country. You don't have to over tip, and I call that over tipping, and a lot of you guys are guilty of this. And you'd be like, oh, it don't mean nothing to me. What's $4? What's $5? That's your problem. There is nothing wrong with $4 or $5 tip, but this is Philippines, baby. So you're talking 200, 250 peso tip. Think of it like that, and I think you'll be fine. Alright? Tip within your means, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Mike is officially out. At least Nako. Paalam, which means I'm going now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.